So in that particular show, what we did in parking for Jetson, when he came into a stop and pressed a button, his vehicle became a briefcase, and he carried it. So the idea was to make life easier and smoother and more interesting in the future.
Decades ago, the Jetsons showed a bright future filled with strange machines, talking devices, and everyday life in the sky. At the time, it looked like pure cartoon fantasy. But look closer today, and some of those wild ideas feel surprisingly familiar. Screens that travel with you, machines that clean your home, and tiny devices that changed medicine forever. One invention even involves something small enough to swallow that can explore inside the human body. Coincidence, or a strangely accurate guess about the future? Let's look at 10 inventions the cartoon imagined long before they became real. Capsule endoscopy and the camera pill. One of the more surprising ideas shown in the Jetsons appears during a medical checkup scene. In the episode, George Jetson is asked to swallow a tiny device so the doctor can examine his body from the inside. The moment is short and played in a humorous way, but the concept behind it is striking. Instead of large medical equipment or uncomfortable procedures, the doctor relies on a small probe that travels through the body and sends information back. For a cartoon created in the early 1960s, the idea felt strangely detailed and far ahead of its time. Medical technology during that era was much more limited. Doctors often had to rely on external tools, X-rays, or invasive procedures to examine internal organs. Exploring the digestive system in particular could involve uncomfortable instruments and complicated tests. The thought that a patient could simply swallow a small device that would safely travel through the body seemed almost impossible. Yet the show presented the idea casually, as if it were just another routine part of medical care in the future. The authentic technology of capsule endoscopy developed into a functioning system which proved the concept from the past. A patient swallows a pill-sized capsule that contains 3 essential components: a miniature camera, a light source, and a transmitter. The capsule proceeds through the digestive system while it gathers thousands of images, which it transmits to a recording device that the patient carries. Doctors examine the images to find evidence of bleeding, inflammation, and other medical issues in areas that standard examination techniques cannot reach. The actual device has a smaller size and specialized functions that differ from the cartoon depiction, but its fundamental concept stays the same. A swallowable tool travels through the body and reports what it sees, allowing doctors to gather valuable information without major procedures. The Jetsons playfully presented the concept, but it captured an important shift in medical thinking. Technology development will enable body-friendly devices to deliver internal body data without creating discomfort for users. The medical tool, which started as a humorous concept, has developed into a valuable instrument that assists doctors in diagnosing medical conditions while minimizing disturbances to their patients' everyday routines. A swallowable camera is impressive, but the next prediction takes things to the sky. Drones and small personal flyers. In the opening scenes of the Jetsons, the sky is full of small flying vehicles moving through the air like cars on a highway. George Jetson travels in a compact flying pod that lifts off from his home and carries him across the city. These vehicles are not massive airplanes, but small personal craft designed for everyday travel. The show presents the sky as another traffic lane where people move quickly from place to place. For audiences watching in the early 1960s, the idea of routine personal flight seemed exciting but distant, something that belonged to science fiction rather than daily life. At that time, most aircraft were large machines used mainly for long-distance travel. Personal flying vehicles were rare and complicated to operate. Even helicopters were expensive and required trained pilots. The thought that ordinary people might travel in small flying machines above a city sounded unrealistic. Yet, the cartoon treated the idea as completely ordinary. Families used flying vehicles to commute, run errands, and visit friends, just as people on the ground used cars and buses. This vision suggested that the future might rely on smaller aircraft that are easier to control and used for everyday tasks. Currently, there are no operational streets above the ground that enable personal flying cars to travel. However, small flying machines now exist in the form of drones, which people can operate. The compact aircraft possesses the ability to ascend into the sky while maintaining a stationary position and operating in various directions through ground control. Drones serve multiple industries in present-day operations. Aerial photography enables airborne image capture, which construction crews use to examine tall buildings, farmers apply to watch their fields, and researchers use to explore hard-to-reach locations. Several companies conducted delivery drone experiments, which successfully transported packages between short points without requiring road infrastructure. The increasing adoption of drones demonstrates how miniature flying machines have become integrated into contemporary society. The sky is now accessible to all types of aircraft, not just large planes. Many small aircraft now operate in the sky while carrying specialized equipment, which includes cameras and sensors for completing specific missions. Personal flying pods from George Jetson's time remain fictional, yet essential machines that operate between ground level and lower airspace now exist. The animated show presented a vision of a crowded sky that contained useful flying devices, and this vision has started to become a reality in our current world. Video calls. In the world of the Jetsons, video calls appear as a normal part of everyday life. George Jetson often answers a call where the person on the other side appears on a screen instead of only being heard through a telephone. Sometimes it is a friend casually checking in, and other times it is his boss suddenly appearing on the screen with instructions or complaints. These moments are usually played for humor, but the idea behind them was surprisingly bold for a cartoon created in the early 1960s. During that time, most homes were still getting used to basic television. The thought that someone could see the person they were talking to during a phone call sounded like something from distant science fiction. The show imagined a future where conversations would no longer depend only on voices traveling through a wire. Instead, people would be able to see facial expressions, reactions, and gestures while speaking. In the Jetsons' home, video calls happen casually throughout the day. A character might answer a call while sitting on the couch, walking through the room, or taking a short break from work. The technology is never treated as complicated or difficult to use. It simply exists as another convenient part of the household. This small detail revealed an interesting vision of the future. Communication would become more visual, more immediate, and more personal, even when people were separated by distance. Decades later, that prediction looks remarkably accurate. Today, video calls have become a common way for people to communicate. Phones, laptops, and tablets allow face-to-face conversations across cities, countries, and even continents. Families use video chats to stay connected with relatives who live far away. Friends catch up through quick calls that feel almost like sitting in the same room. Businesses also rely heavily on video meetings, allowing coworkers to collaborate without traveling to the same office. In many ways, these interactions closely resemble the scenes shown in the cartoon many years ago. What makes the prediction especially impressive is how quickly video calling became part of normal life. Technology that once seemed futuristic is now used every day for work, school, and personal communication. A simple camera and screen can connect people instantly, turning long-distance conversations into face-to-face moments. While the devices today are smaller and more advanced than the bulky screens imagined in the cartoon, the basic concept is almost identical. The show captured a powerful idea about the future. People would want communication that feels closer, more natural, and more human, even when they are miles apart. Flat-screen TVs. In the futuristic home of the Jetsons, television screens look very different from what people knew in the early 1960s. Instead of the large wooden boxes that filled living rooms at the time, the show displays thin screens that appear sleek and modern. These televisions are mounted neatly and blend into the design of the home rather than standing as heavy pieces of furniture. For viewers during that era, the image looked almost like a joke about the future. Televisions were bulky, curved, and often the largest device in a room. So imagining a screen that could hang lightly on a wall felt like an impossible leap in design. At that time, television technology relied on thick picture tubes that required deep cabinets to house the internal parts. Sets were often placed on sturdy stands and could weigh a great deal. Because of this, the idea of a thin display seemed unrealistic. Yet the show pictured homes where screens were flat, elegant, and easy to place almost anywhere. They looked less like machines and more like decorative panels. This small design detail hinted at a larger shift. Technology in the future would not only become more advanced, but it would also become more visually pleasing inside everyday homes. The vision that people had for the future finally became a real thing after many years. People today use flat-screen televisions as their standard home entertainment system, which they find in all parts of the world. Modern screens display their content through a lightweight and slim design, which replaces the need for deep cabinets and heavy frames. The mounting systems that people use today to display their screens on walls originated from a cartoon that showed this concept more than 30 years ago. The renovation work between these two spaces has created new methods to design room arrangements. The new television design allows users to create open and flexible living spaces because the device no longer requires a large space for its stand or cabinet. People can now watch content on bigger screens that maintain their slim size to achieve a contemporary space-efficient viewing experience. The true accuracy of the prediction lies not only in the thin shape of the screen, but in how it fits into daily life. The design of modern televisions allows them to function as home decoration elements that customers can use in their interior design plans. When the screens are not active, they display a design that makes them look like decorative wall art. The show presented this concept, which showed how entertainment screens could become permanent elements of home design throughout the entire show. The prediction about future television technology, which people once thought to be a funny joke, showed awesome accuracy because it matched the design of modern television sets that people watch every day. Digital news and tablet reading. In the futuristic world of the Jetsons, information moves quickly and often appears on screens instead of paper. Characters are sometimes seen reading news from electronic displays rather than holding a printed newspaper. For audiences in the early 1960s, this detail might have seemed small, but it quietly hinted at a major change in how people could receive information. At that time, newspapers were one of the most common ways to stay updated on current events. Families often received a fresh paper delivered to their doorstep each morning, and reading the news meant turning pages filled with printed stories, photographs, and advertisements. The idea that news could appear instantly on a screen suggested a very different future. Instead of waiting for a newspaper to be printed and delivered, information could become available at any moment. In the world of the show, screens function almost like living newspapers that update quickly with new stories. A person could check the latest headlines from from the comfort of home without waiting for the next edition to arrive. This simple detail pointed toward a world where information would move faster and become easier to access. Reading the news would no longer be limited by printing schedules or delivery routes. Today, that prediction feels very familiar. Modern technology has transformed how people consume news and information. Millions of people now read news through smartphones, tablets, and computers. News websites and apps allow readers to open articles instantly, whether they are sitting at home, riding public transportation, or waiting in line at a store. Tablets, in particular, provide a reading experience that closely resembles a digital newspaper. They display stories, photographs, videos, and live updates on a single screen. Many people now scroll through headlines during short breaks or while commuting, something that was difficult to imagine during the era of printed newspapers. The shift toward digital reading has changed more than just the format of news. It has also transformed the speed and convenience of staying informed. Articles can be updated within minutes as new information becomes available, and readers can access reports from around the world instantly. Instead of relying on a single daily newspaper, people can follow breaking events throughout the day. The cartoon imagined a future where information appeared instantly on personal screens, and that vision has largely become reality. News is no longer limited to ink on paper. Instead, it moves through glowing displays that place global events directly in the hands of the reader. Screens replacing newspapers was a big shift, but the next idea goes even further. Talking alarms and smart assistants. In the futuristic household of the Jetsons, machines often speak directly to the people using them. One memorable example is the talking alarm clock that wakes George Jetson each morning. Instead of a simple ringing sound, the device calls out to him with a voice, telling him it is time to get up. The moment is played for humor, but it also shows a clever idea about how technology might change. Rather than relying on buttons and switches, machines in the home could communicate with people through speech. For viewers in the early 1960s, that concept seemed unusual. Most household devices at the time were mechanical and silent. Alarm clocks simply rang loudly, and if someone wanted to change the time, they had to twist small knobs on the back. Talking machines were mostly limited to science fiction stories. The show suggested something different, a future where devices would understand spoken commands and respond in a voice that sounded almost human. This meant technology would become easier to use because people could interact with it in the same way they speak to each other. The present moment has established the concept as a component of daily existence. Voice assistants now exist in many homes through smart speakers and digital devices. People can speak simple commands to ask for the weather, set alarms, start timers, or play music. The device responds to their spoken phrase without requiring any button touches. The digital assistants possess the capability to respond to inquiries and handle both light control and reminder management tasks. The system operates through its microphone and its sophisticated speech recognition software, which produces audible responses. The result creates a home space that offers more interactive experiences than previous time periods. Devices have evolved from their original function as silent equipment that required manual activation through button pressing. The system functions as a listening device that can react to user requests by delivering requested details. The animated program's talking alarm clock created a humorous effect, but actually showed how technological developments changed human communication patterns. Human communication methods have become more machine-like, which helps people complete their daily activities more quickly. The concept that enables devices to speak with users for scheduling assistance has transformed from being a science fiction novelty into an essential element of current daily existence. Smart kitchen cooking. In the futuristic kitchen of the Jetsons, preparing a meal often looks incredibly easy. Jane Jetson sometimes feeds the family by simply pressing a button on a machine, and moments later, food appears ready to eat. The scene is meant to be humorous, but it also reflects a clear idea about how cooking might change in the future. Instead of spending long periods chopping vegetables, measuring ingredients, and watching pots on the stove, meals could be prepared quickly with the help of smart devices. In this vision of the future, the kitchen becomes a place where machines handle much of the effort that once made cooking time-consuming. For audiences in the early 1960s, that concept sounded extreme. Cooking at home usually requires several steps that demand patience and attention. People prepared ingredients by hand, carefully measured portions, and monitored heat, while food slowly cooked on the stove or inside the oven. Even with early kitchen appliances like electric ovens, mixers, and toasters, preparing a full meal still required time and planning. Families often spent a large part of their day cooking, cleaning, and organizing food. The idea that a machine could produce a complete meal almost instantly seemed unrealistic. Yet the cartoon suggested that convenience would become the main goal of future kitchens, where devices would handle many tasks automatically. Modern kitchen technology has begun to move in that direction. Smart ovens, programmable cookers, and connected appliances now help guide people through the cooking process. Some modern ovens can recognize the type of food placed inside and adjust the temperature or cooking time automatically. Others connect to mobile phones or home networks, so users can start cooking remotely or monitor the progress of a meal from another room. Instead of guessing the right settings, the appliance can follow pre-programmed instructions designed to produce reliable results. These systems do not create instant meals with the push of a single button, but they do simplify many parts of the cooking process. New experiments have pushed the idea even further. Some researchers and companies are exploring machines that can produce food layer by layer using specialized printers. These devices combine ingredients and build meals through controlled digital instructions. While this technology is still developing and not widely used in homes, it shows how cooking may continue moving toward automation. The cartoon imagined a future where preparing meals required little more than pressing a button. While real kitchens are not quite that simple yet, the direction is clear. Appliances are becoming smarter, faster, and more helpful, slowly transforming the kitchen into a space where machines assist with tasks that once demanded far more time and effort. Machines that speed up beauty routines. In the colorful future imagined by the Jetsons, even beauty routines are handled by machines. In one scene, Jane Jetson steps into a tanning device that quickly changes her skin tone, almost as if she has spent hours relaxing under the sun. The machine includes playful settings that sound like vacation destinations, suggesting different tanning levels with a quick adjustment. The moment is meant to be humorous, but it also reveals a clever idea about the future of beauty care. Instead of relying on long routines and slow results, specialized machines could produce cosmetic changes quickly and conveniently. During the early 1960s, most tanning happened in a very traditional way. People spent long hours outside hoping the sunlight would gradually darken their skin. Some used oils or lotions to help the process, but the results still depended on time, weather, and patience. A deep tan could take days or even weeks of repeated sun exposure. The idea that a machine could create the same effect indoors, in a short and controlled session, sounded unusual at the time. Yet, the cartoon presented the device as a normal household convenience, suggesting that beauty treatments in the future might become faster, easier, and more reliable. Salons, fitness centers, and other locations started using tanning beds. The machines allowed users to achieve skin-darkening results through ultraviolet light exposure. Users could lie inside a controlled space where special lamps produced the light needed to create a tan. The method produced results faster because people only required brief sessions compared to traditional sunbathing. The actual machines operated at a basic level, which matched the cartoon version but maintained its core concept. Sunlight effects could be reproduced through technology, which offered both controlled environments and improved operational efficiency. The prediction also goes beyond tanning alone. Many beauty treatments available today use technology that improves appearance through rapid and accurate methods. Clinics and salons now use light-based skin treatments, facial therapy devices, and advanced skincare tools. Some treatments use lasers, gentle heat, or special light waves to improve skin tone and texture. The other treatments focus on reducing wrinkles while helping skin to regenerate in its natural way. The cartoon predicted that beauty routines would use machines for their main functions, which has now become a real practice. The playful, futuristic joke, which people once viewed as humorous, now shows how modern skincare and cosmetic technology practices have developed into an established trend. Robot vacuums. In the futuristic home of the Jetsons, machines often handle the chores that people once did by hand. The most famous helper is Rosie the robot, the family's loyal housekeeper who cleans, cooks, and keeps everything running smoothly. Rosie represents the dream of a fully capable robot assistant that can manage an entire household. Alongside her, the show also includes smaller automated devices that move around the house performing simple tasks. These machines quietly glide across the floor and take care of routine cleaning. The idea behind them is clear. Everyday life in the future would rely on machines that handle repetitive chores so people can spend more time relaxing or focusing on other activities. During the early 1960s, this idea sounded like pure fantasy. Household cleaning still depended almost entirely on human effort. Vacuums were large and heavy machines that needed to be pushed slowly across carpets and floors. Cleaning the house meant sweeping, dusting furniture, scrubbing surfaces, and mopping by hand. These chores were often time-consuming and had to be repeated regularly to keep a home tidy. Seeing a small device that could move on its own and clean a room without constant guidance seemed far beyond the technology available at that time. Yet, the show treated automated cleaning as normal. Instead of presenting it as a rare scientific experiment, it appeared as a simple household convenience that families used every day. Today, robot vacuums bring that vision surprisingly close to reality. Small circular machines move across floors while collecting dust, crumbs, and debris. Many models use sensors to avoid walls, furniture, and other obstacles while navigating through rooms. Some advanced versions even create digital maps of a home so they can clean more efficiently. Owners can start a cleaning cycle with a single button or through a mobile phone app. Once activated, the device travels across the floor, changes direction when necessary, and eventually returns to its charging station when the job is done. The process happens quietly in the background, often while people are busy with other tasks. These machines are not nearly as advanced as Rosie, but the basic idea remains the same. A single automated device focuses on one task and performs it without constant human effort. This small shift can make daily life easier by removing a routine chore from the schedule. The show imagined a future where technology quietly supports everyday living, and robot vacuums reflect that vision well. What once looked like a playful cartoon concept has become a practical household tool that many people now rely on to keep their homes clean with less effort. If that home robot surprised you, The next invention shrinks powerful tech into something tiny: smartwatches and wrist screens. The Jetsons shows a future world that features various devices that help people streamline their everyday tasks. The characters use a tiny device that they wear on their wrists. The users can check their messages and view images and information by looking at their wrist screens instead of needing to use a big machine or switch on a television. The system operates through a straightforward concept that enables users to take their essential updates and entertainment content while moving throughout their home. The 1960s audience found the concept to be both entertaining and creative because most technologies during that era required substantial space and weight and could only operate within designated areas. Back then, televisions were bulky pieces of furniture that often sat inside wooden cabinets, and telephones were fixed to walls or desks. If someone wanted to make a call or check information, they had to go to the device rather than carry it with them. Personal electronics were almost non-existent. Showing a screen small enough to wear on the wrist suggested a future where technology would shrink and become more personal. In the cartoon, these wrist devices sometimes display video, send messages, or help characters stay connected with others. The show treated the gadget like an everyday tool, not a rare invention or complicated machine. It hinted that people in the future would carry information with them all the time, ready to check it with a glance. The current smartwatch functions operate as modern versions of the original concept, which existed during its initial development. The wrist-worn device functions as a compact tool that enables users to receive notifications and read messages, monitor their steps, and make phone calls. People prefer to check their screen notifications by raising their arm instead of taking their phone out of their pocket or bag. A watch that connects to other devices lets users see their fitness statistics, track their fitness goals, and receive health alerts and app notifications. Some smartwatches can even measure heart rate, track workouts, and guide users through daily health goals. The actual design surpasses the original cartoon design, yet both designs show almost identical core principles. The shift toward wearable technology shows how accurate that early vision turned out to be. The devices that formerly required desks, cables, and large screens have transformed into portable tools that users carry with them everywhere. Users can check the weather, read messages, and see brief updates within seconds without needing to take out their phone. Users can access digital maps, music, and payment systems through smartwatches, which transform wrist devices into essential daily tools. The cartoon used an exaggerated concept for comedic effect. Yet, it accurately predicted a future where technology would become more compact, intelligent, and always available to users. The playful cartoon gadget has evolved into a device that people now use as their daily wearable. It is amazing how a simple cartoon like the Jetsons imagined ideas that once felt impossible, but now exist in everyday life. From small gadgets we wear to machines that help run our homes, many of those futuristic moments turned out to be closer to reality than anyone expected. Which invention surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories like this one. And stay right here, because another great video is already waiting for you on the screen.